Welcome to the Rewards Master Live on this Sunday afternoon. And I think we have a few who've already come in. Juan Garcia. Hey, Juan, channel member. Great to have you here. Says good afternoon, Bop. Good afternoon to you, Juan. Good to see you today. See if we got anybody else. I think we got just under 10 folks who are already in here. So if you want to say hello, I appreciate it. Narakan, good morning. Morning to you. I guess it's morning where you are. It's afternoon where I am, but barely afternoon. So good to see you. Let's see. Ian says, good day, sir. Good day to you. Thank you for being a channel member, Ian. Mike Newland, good buddy, Mike Newland, great friend of the channel and so many different creators. Says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Mike. Nick, I finally get to catch one of these things live. Well, you sure did, because I changed the time a little bit this time. So I don't know. We'll see what times work better in the future, but it was a reason that I'll get to in a minute for this today. James is giving us a wave. Good to see you, James. Good to have you here, channel member. Thank you very much. Caldards, channel member, says good afternoon. Afternoon to you. Rob Knopper Studio asked the question. So did you decide to transfer to JAL in the end? So far, I earned 192,000 built points, which became 384,000 JAL miles today. That is 4 business class flights to Tokyo and over 15 JAL miles per dollar. That is, man, I'm just going to say, I can't high five you through the computer screen, but high five. That is awesome, Rob. No, I decided not to, and I'll tell you the reason I did. I don't have a ton of built points because I had built 1.0, but I wasn't using it much. I'd found a way. I had a Wells Fargo mortgage for a while. That's why I got it. And there was a little hack, and I learned that from John, which, on his channel, because he was doing that for years. So it was a rental house, and I had a Wells Fargo mortgage, and I was paying that Wells Fargo mortgage and getting points for a while. But then I sold that house, and so I didn't have a way to do it anymore. So I started off this built 2.0 journey with like less than 10,000 points. And so I just hit my sign up bonus spend yesterday, and it hasn't come through yet. So I just don't think that I have enough miles to make a difference, even if I buy up to the 100% or the 125%. So I didn't even get my gold status yet. It should all come through tomorrow, I think, but it was just bad timing on my part. So I'm missing out on this, but maybe there'll be another great one coming up, like Alaska or something. So, but Rob, congratulations. That's awesome. Calderds gives an exclamation point. Thanks for the beer. Well, I didn't give you one, but you're welcome. I love that name. Channel member says hello. Good to see you here. Sleepy Rod, so many dark things going on in the world. Good to come to some credit card stuff. Yeah, it is kind of a good solve, isn't it, for being able to soothe our wounds in the world with all the news. Gotten to where I just don't watch much of it anymore. So Silver 3ism, channel member, gives us a wave. Good to have you. And then this is exciting. Juan Garcia gifted 5 rewards channel members. That is awesome. So if you get one of those, please put a comment thanking Juan for that. That is absolutely outstanding. Thank you, Juan. That helps out a lot. That'll put me up about close to between 125 and 130 channel members. That is awesome. By the way, I also have 5 spreadsheet warriors, and we're doing live Zoom sessions where we're able to talk face-to-face live, in real time. So we're having a good time with that. At least I'm having a good time with it, and I hope they are. So that's the second tier of my channel membership. I'll talk about that more later. Dem, hey Dem, good to have you here. Says good afternoon. Chad's Money Minutes. Hey Chad, I think I'm going to see you at the Creator Meetup. I think I heard that you're going on your video. So that'll be good to meet you in person, since we didn't get to meet at the Creator Meetup. I think you were sick. So it's going to be awesome. I'll only be there Friday night, though. I hope you're going to be there Friday night. Nick says, got to use Built to pay my March mortgage. Went smooth. Was expecting a soup sandwich. All right. Did you push it from Built, or did you pull it from your bank, or did you do the check option? There's 3 different options. I can't figure out how to do the pull, but I'm not worried about it because I did 2 little test payments that both went to principal. One pushing through Built to my bank, and the other one I had him send a check. both went through fine. So mine's already paid up for March. I'll be doing my first full mortgage payment in April. So I hope, let me know how that worked. Tulare 73. Hey, Tulare, channel member. Thank you. Good to have you here. Says hello, Bob. Sleepy Rod, you should refresh your Built app. Mine came pretty instantly. Really? I think I have, and it didn't. That maybe it's because it's the weekend that I spent the money on. So, Dim thought about doing the JAL transfer today. Decided against it. Have plans to visit Tokyo, but prefer the flexibility of other partners with Atmos instead. Yeah, that I was going to do it as well, but decided not to because, like I said, my bonus hasn't come in. Didn't think the amount of points I could transfer would be worth it. So, love points and miles. Good to have you here. Hi, first live. So excited. I'm glad to have you here. That's awesome. We got a first timer on the live. That's great. Big Kurt, channel member, gives a $2 super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much. That supports my channel so much. I'm just always humbled by how supportive everybody is. That is great. Outstanding. Thank you. Sleepy Rod, JAL is part of the One World Alliance. It's more than just about flying to Japan. Yeah, that's true. They do have partners, so you can book more than just that. And they do have good, from what I saw when I was researching it all, because I have a JAL account that's open now that I could transfer to and use. But it was pretty good. James says, hey, professor, how you doing? I like these times when I get to teach Zoom and I don't have to grade anybody on it. So these are my favorite kind. Nick says, I added the account number Built provided to my mortgage app. Oh, so you pulled it from your mortgage. Okay, got it. Jessica Wynn, channel member, says, hey, RM, happy rent day. Did you spend today to get the 4X on Palladium? I did. I actually paid my church contribution this morning and going to get the 4X on that. So, and it's a nice boost. I do think it makes Built even more powerful and more broken, but it's limited. I mean, if it wasn't limited to 1,000 extra points, I would save up and pay all my bills even months in advance on rent day. But that part was broken, and I understand why they had to stop it. But yeah, I do like the rent day. Ian, channel member, says I was gonna love 300 to 400,000 move. I think they mean to move 300, 400,000 to JAL, move them to Emirates instead, and booked a flight. Okay, JAL would have been speculative since I was there last week. Okay. Yeah, Emirates. I'm flying Emirates in a couple months from JFK to Milan. So we're excited about that business class flight. And so, yeah, with Built transferring, they're the best one to transfer to Emirates with. So that's not a bad play. Ian says move, clarifying his comment. And Curtis Ferris says airport lounges are the best. Love your channel. Thanks. That's what we're about today. That's what today's main event is airport lounges. And I'm going to tell you, I know it's going to irritate some people, so bear with me. It's my opinion, and I do have a rationale behind it, but I know some people are going to be frustrated because they always are when I rank things. So Nick says, I noticed Built gave me points interest, a whole 21 points in interest. Woo! That's almost as good as banks give with non-high interest, non-high yield savings accounts, right? It's 0.001 or whatever. James Nugent says, what's up? Good to have you here, James. Nurcan, I did the transfer, 99,000 Built points to 198,000 JAL. Looking to book Emirates business class. Sounds awesome. Mike Newland, Delta opening a lounge at the Sphere in Vegas. Really? Hadn't heard that, Mike. Thank you. That's going to be interesting. All right. So a couple of housekeeping things. I wanted to encourage everybody. If you haven't heard about the Sacramento meetup, it's coming up at the end of this month in March, the 27th and 28th. I'm going to be there. I think I saw that Chad from Chad's Money Minutes is going to be there. He's in here, so he can clarify if that's not true. But I know several of us are going to be there. I think Joe Barretto is going to be there, and I'll only be there on Friday night because I got to get back on Saturday. But I think it'll be a fun time. So just know about that. I think there's a lot of information on Joe Barretto's Discord on that. And then, of course, the big creator meetup is going to be in Charleston, South Carolina at the Wild Dunes, and that is on September 5th. Of course, a lot of folks come in and make it a whole weekend. That's what we do with these creator things. I think Nona and I are planning on coming in on the 4th, leaving on the 8th. So that's a great time in Charleston. And at these things, it is not just creators. In fact, most of the people there are folks who are just fans of the hobby, who love this and want to have some time sitting over dinner or just sitting around talking about all this. And so that would be great if any of y'all wanted to come to either of those. The reason I booked early, I did this live stream earlier than normal today, is because Philip with Points with Philip is doing one at 2 o'clock my time, so 3 o'clock his time, so 2 o'clock Central time. So right when I get done with this, and he invited several of us creators to jump on his. So I wanted to do that for him. So that's why I moved mine a little bit earlier today. And let me tell you, it was a rush to get home and get it up on here, but that's great. I'm happy to do that for Philip. And so if you don't mind, when you're done with this one, jump right into Philip's, and hopefully that'll be a great one as well. I know Anthony Venture is going to be there and probably some other folks as well. And then the last thing I wanted to encourage you is Nona put out another video on Away Again Travel. She did kind of a recap of last year and all the stuff we did together. You know, I appreciate Chad when he talks about me, and I feel the same about him. He always says, well, that's a creator that actually does stuff. Well, Nona and I actually travel. We travel a lot. So we put our points to use. And so she did a recap of the things we did last year. That included Dubai, that included Rome, that included Abu Dhabi, that included Berlin, that included Frankfurt, that included Fort Lauderdale. We went a lot of places. So please go over. I think she's got around 130 subscribers now. And let me tell you, she gets excited when she gets new subscribers. And it makes my day, because there's nothing in the world after 30 plus years of marriage to that woman I love more than to see her excited. I mean, she's just a great person when she's always a great person, but you know, she just, it thrills my soul when I see her excited. So if you wouldn't mind going over, watching her video, hitting the subscribe button, especially, and the like button, that really makes her day. So appreciate that. That's Away Again Travels. There's a link down in the description below to her channel. Away Again Travels with Nona and Bop is what it's called. Let me catch up on comments, and then we're going to get to the slides. I think the last one we had was Mike talking about the Delta Lounge at the Sphere. Evan says, you're going to Conrad Fort Lauderdale for the F1 race. Whole McLaren team stays there every year. Ate dinner with Oscar Piastri at Vitolo last year. Oh, that's cool. No, we're not planning on it, but we did stay at that hotel in December, and it was amazing. I think that's Nona's favorite hotel. I don't know. Conrad Abu Dhabi was awesome too, but we love that one in Fort Lauderdale. James says that's pretty cool. All right. Love Points and Miles says, anyone think the minimum payment calculation for Built was very high? Not that it affects the group as we pay off in full, but thought it was a unique calculation. I didn't even notice. Mine hasn't come due yet, so I didn't notice that. Is it higher than normal? I don't know. But hopefully that doesn't affect anybody here, because we pay it off, right? Everybody should pay it off every month. Miles and Stays is now a channel member. Welcome to the channel. Great to have you as a part of the channel. I appreciate it. Houdini Unchained. That's cool. That's a cool little play on words there. Hey guys, I have a flight to Bali next week that connects in Abu Dhabi and Qatar. Would you guys cancel the trip with all that's happening now? I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody can say that except you after you watch the news and just do an evaluation. I remember when we went to Abu Dhabi and all that last year was after there'd been that first little dust up with Iran, and we were having to fly through Doha, and they had caused some issues in Qatar, and we had to make a decision. That was about a week before we went. We ended up going. It ended up being okay, but I don't know. This is a little bit more these days, so I wish I was more help. But I can see why that's a tough decision. Sultan, how'd you get the nickname Bop? My grandkids. So that's weird story, but you know, I'm a professor, so my kids are always joking about, well, everybody else calls you doctor, you know, doctor, but we're never going to call you doctor. But when my first grandchild was born, and he's not very old now, but when he was born, they said, well, maybe the grandbaby will call you doctor. So they tried to get him to call me Dr. Pops. and it came out Bop. So since that day, I've been Bop and Nona. That's what they call her. So Bop and Nona. So we got it from our grandkids. So that's probably dumb, but we like it. So that's where it came from. Thank you for the question, Sol. Nurkan, happy wife, happy life. Yeah, y'all are right. Like I said, 30 years, happy wife, happy life. I've learned that lesson. Virgil, which lounge do you recommend in the Minneapolis airport? Probably one of the Delta lounges. You know, there's not a lot there that aren't Delta lounges. So I haven't been through there enough to say which one's better and which one's worse. Maybe somebody else will have a comment. Sleepy Rod, Houdini, you should cancel. Okay, that's Sleepy Rod's opinion. Houdini. John, credit and travel. What's up, Mike? Glad to be here. Well, good to see you, John. Good to have you here. Travis Travels says, I wouldn't cancel personally. Rarely do planes fly if it's really high risk. Yeah, they're probably not going to fly over where there's actual conflict going on in the air. So that's maybe true. Houdini, Sleepy Rod, thanks. It's kind of tough since Etihad 380 going and Qatar Q Suites coming back. Oh, that's hurt. Yeah, that's tough. Tampa Travel, are you planning on paying taxes with the card? Won't help with Built Sub, yet perhaps another sub. This would help you with Chase. Yeah, I always pay my quarterlies with my cards, but probably will with our Platinum, our newer Platinum card this next time. Bill Wright, nothing dumb with grandkids love. That's right. That's right. So that's why I'm Bop and forever will be. That's better. That's how Dr. Pops came out, was Bop. So a Texas Dog, good to see you, says howdy. Let me see how many are in here and then we'll move on to the slides. 66. That's pretty good for an earlier start time. All right, let me just get right into this. So on the new developments part today, we've talked this to death already, and you've seen 18 videos on it already. But highest evaluation, I just want to sum it up in this way, and I've said this on other videos and lives, but I think it's really bad news for Chase. And I think Chase, I really think what will happen is Chase is going, we're going to see some good things out of Chase because they're going to want to be competitive. And this was their big value proposition. So let me know, let me know if you think that's true. I've heard some creators say that they think it's even a bigger deal for Built. I respectfully disagree with that, because I do think that Built has so many other things going for it, not counting how they roll stuff out, of course, but as far as their earnings are so high, they have other great transfer partners that are unique to them. You know, there are ways to really bump that multiplier up. Chase doesn't have any of that. I mean, what they had was Hyatt, and they had the ink train, and they don't have that anymore. And they had, you could get the cards every 48 months, and they don't have that anymore. That's all they had. So to me, it was the most devastating news in the world for Chase. And I'm kind of surprised Chase let it happen. I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe they don't have to consult Chase on this, but if they consulted them, I can imagine Chase was not happy at all. I wish I knew what went on behind the scenes on that, because that would, to me, be very, very interesting. Well, before I move on to the main event, let me catch up. Let's see. I think the next one here was Sleepy Rod. I'm nervous about the Amex ANA transfer ratio. We find out tonight. Okay. We'll be watching. We'll be watching. ANA is a good transfer partner for them. Mike Newland, you do whatever you want with the grandkids, silly or not. It's your privilege. That's right. Silly is glorious when it comes to those little ones. That's for sure. Miles and Stays says, Rewards Master, did you end up transferring to JAL? The answer is no. I said this a little earlier. You must have jumped in late. That's fine. I don't have enough points. My bonus hasn't hit yet. It'll probably, unfortunately, it'll hit tomorrow. Probably, because I've already hit the spend yesterday. So probably hit tomorrow. So it's not going to work out for me, but that's all right. I don't have anything in the works that I need to book with them anyhow. So Evan Gibson, the CSP and the Ink Prefer refresh are going to be nuts. Yep. That's my prediction. I think that they're going to have good cards again. I think that they're going to have to, because now, I'm sorry, but their card lineup's the bottom of the game. It's the bottom of the game. Who isn't better? Amex is better. Citi's a lot better. Built's better. They're all better. So I think that's going to have to be, or else they're going to be irrelevant and they're going to rely upon, excuse me, paying high referral bonuses and just getting, advertising that way, I guess, to people who don't know any different. K-State Nate says, hello. Hey, Nate, good to have you here. Gentleman Explorer, good day, sir. We are sitting in a pile of business platinums and business golds. None are keepers. Any guy ideas of how to unwind the portfolio? Well, you can downgrade and then hope for an upgrade. But yeah, I mean, it's just so tempting to do those offers. I mean, 150, 200, 250, 300,000. And if you've got the spend for it, man, it's a no-brainer. But then you're stuck with them. And you don't need more than one, even if you need the one. So I think I'm in the same situation. I just canceled a business green because that is the worst card in the world. But it is a thing to downgrade to. So I canceled the business green last week, and I still have a business gold and a business platinum. I'll see what happens with the business gold. I will keep probably one business platinum because I can't get a personal platinum. So business is not as good as personal. Nona has a personal. So we'll probably keep at least one business. That's where I'm at on it. Hope that helps. J. Carlos, I may use CFF for the Amazon category if it comes next quarter, then downgrade CSP. Built removes the need for Chase. Built removes the need for Chase for everybody. I mean, honestly, they do. Source King, Hyatt, good. Hyatt news sucks, but I can't quit Hyatt. I'm the Park Hyatt Toronto right now, and it's really nice. They are nice. I mean, if we're honest about it, their prices still aren't worse than Marriott and Hyatt and Hilton. They're not worse. It's not that it made Hyatt a bad choice. It just made hotel points in themselves more irrelevant than they already were. And it made really Hyatt kind of the best of hotel points. To me, that's how it works out. At least that's how I see it. Gentleman Explorer drops $1.99. Thank you so much. It supports the channel. I appreciate it very much. J. Carlos, as there are value in category 3 to 4, I could still do Hyatt, but I'm not a loyalist. I'm a free agent. Actually, that's an interesting thing, Carlos, because I think what's ended up happening is now it seems like the worst hit were the high-end stuff. And it wasn't that bad in the category 1, 2, 3, 4. It wasn't as bad as at the high end. So it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people in the game, people liked it because they liked the Park Hyatts and they liked those high-end ones. But that's where it has become less compelling than it was, although still better prices for points than their competitors. So if we're going to be honest about it, that's still true. I think it just affected hotel points in general more than anything else. Gentleman Explorer, Park Hyatts are really amazing. Wife and kids love them. We started Waldorfs this year, and they are great. Waldorfs are great. We like Conrads. I don't know. We've been in Waldorfs, and it's just kind of extra gaudy, but the Conrads, Nona loves. We've stayed in 4 or 5 Conrads. She loves those, but she likes Waldorfs too, and we like them too. We're getting ready to branch into Marriott's, JWs, and Ritz-Carltons and all that this year, so we don't have a lot of experience with it yet. Damn, are you guys seeing any upgrade offers with the business green? Are showing less and less on that. I didn't get any. I had it a whole year and didn't get anything. Not to a gold, not to a platinum. So it's not seeming like they're doing that much anymore. Romine says, hey, everybody. Good to have you here. And Nuracan Amex offered me to upgrade business gold to business gold from the green for 70 MR points for 10K spend in 3 months. I'll be canceling the green when the annual fee comes up. Yeah, that's not a terrible. 70,000 MR points for 10K spend. That's not the best in the world, but if you're locked out of Amex, if you're on the personal side, like I am in pop-up jail forever, serving a life sentence, then yeah, that could work out fairly decent, I would think. So, okay, let me head to our slides. So this is my centerpiece today. The best lounge cards. Well, it's complicated. And so what I did is I broke this down based upon what kind of traveler a person is, where they're traveling out of, and if they're an airline loyalist or not. So those are the 3 criteria. So I have 8 different slides for 8 different types of travelers. And the reason I did this is everybody says, well, this is the best lounge card. Well, like for instance, is there a case to be made that the even with the changes that the Capital One Venture X is a great lounge card? Yes, but not for me, because I mean, most of the time Nona and I travel together. I travel with people for work that I want to get into the lounge. And let me be clear. This is a few like things, caveats to start with. I will not pay for someone to go into the lounge with me. I will not do it. That's just me, because I don't think the food is good enough. And, you know, yes, there's a comfortable place to sit and all that, but it's just like we could go. Most of these lounges have a $50 to $75 fee to get somebody in. You know how much good food we can buy in the airport for that much money? That negates the benefit of a lounge for me. So as kind of a foundation of all this discussion, I'm not thinking about, well, you can pay for people to get in. So that's considered. The other thing is I'm talking about either people who are free agents or loyalists. What I mean by a loyalist is you're loyal to an airline. You fly Delta, or you fly American, or you fly United. The other thing that's got to be considered as I dive into this is that I'm going to talk about if you live in a major hub, or if you live and fly out of a regional airport. Like I fly out of Memphis, Birmingham, Nashville, Huntsville. Those are airports I fly out of. None of those are a major hub. So there's not like Centurion lounges and Sapphire lounges everywhere. So that has to be considered. There might be an escape lounge, but there's not those others. And then also when we think about what this means to a person, you've got to consider the fact that it's everyone, even though I've tried to put together a helpful list, it's not going to be perfect for everybody, because you could be like, for instance, the Memphis airport is just a regional airport, but it has a Delta Sky Club left over from when Northwest had their hub there. So that might skew everything, right? I mean, for that reason, a Delta Reserve or something like that. And the last thing that's got to be considered when I look at all these is that, you know, when it comes to these lounge cards and when it comes to all the different lounges that are available, you know, there's different levels of quality. Yes. And as a person is considering which one is better for them, which airport is better for them, and all of that, you know, there's going to be folks who just, I'm never going to fly this airline, therefore that won't affect me. I have options, you know, because if you're out of a major hub, sometimes you can choose. If you're flying out of Dallas, Fort Worth, you could choose American Express, you could choose Capital One, you could choose a Sapphire card. All those lounges are there. That's true at JFK too. So all of that has to be considered before we dive in. Now, before we jump in fully, I've got a few more comments, and there's 77 people in here. This is awesome. Thank you all so much. I just passed 2,800 subscribers on the channel, still marching up. So if you haven't subscribed, do that. Hit the like button. If you haven't, let's see, 28 people have hit the like button. So out of 77, there's a lot more of y'all that can hit the like button. If you would do that, any kind of super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, that all helps as well. So I appreciate that. And we're going to be done in half an hour because I want to have time to jump onto Phillips and all of y'all be able to jump onto Phillips as well. Okay, let's see. Where did we get to? That's the hardest part when I get talking. Okay, let's see. Miles and stays. I've not really stayed at a high-end hotel like Conrad. When you say you love them, what is particular you would say makes you love them? Is it the service, the amenities? Would love to learn more. Well, I love them because we have ways either with FHR or with having diamond status with Hilton or whatever that we get upgrades, and suite, to me, a suite at a high-end hotel is like nothing else. I mean, their low-end rooms are nicer than staying at a Courtyard or something, but the big difference is if you have a way. That's why FHR is so, and I guess Edit would do it too, or Home Away from Home or one of those. But that being able to have that upgrade to a better room on a better floor, maybe a suite, it's just luxurious. That's the big thing. Points of Phillips here. We've been talking about the fact that you're having a special live in a little bit. That's why I scheduled this early, Philip, so that I can get on there and then everybody else can jump on as well. So hopefully that'll happen. Nick, would love to be an airline loyalist, but since I fly out of a small regional airport, I'm flying with whoever has the best price and time. Doesn't matter if it's United, Delta, or American. Well, some of these slides are for you then, because I counted that in. Ebby Kayan says, channel member, thank you for that. Hello, Bob. Keep checking your Built account. I find the transactions keep rolling in and post throughout the day, even on weekends. The portal has an inconsistent way of posting transactions. Yes, it does. Thank you for that advice. I appreciate it. Juan Garcia, in my opinion, the best lounge card is the Ritz card. Yeah, that one ranked quite high in a lot of mine. I have that card. Mike Newland, the best lounge is the lounge you can get into. Absolutely, 100%. That's absolutely true. Dave says, if you stay at Airbnb's, green card is 3x plus parking, plus all my parking fees. Yeah, I never stay in Airbnb's, but that is absolutely true. That 3x general travel category works for that. Nurican, you can use your Built Cash to get third and fourth person in the Priority Pass lounge. That's true. You can. And, if you're desperate to get rid of it before they expire at the end of the year, that might be a good use. Juan Garcia says, Mike, well said, sir. Yep, that was a nugget of wisdom. Absolutely. Points Dexter says, good to have you here, channel member. Afternoon all, was able to use the Built transfer bonus to top off JAL for 3 one-ways from LAX to Tokyo. Good get. That's a good get. Gentleman Explorer, don't sleep on the hotel game. Need to sleep someplace nice after your business class flights. Hilton free night certificates. Path works nicely with high spend on the cards, diminished returns. I love Hilton free night certificates. And I love FHR. I do. And I pay for my hotels, so I got to get all my credits back. So yeah, that's right. A nice place to stay is a great addition to a business class flight. That's true. Rob Knopper, miles and stays last year at Four Seasons in Marrakesh. My daughter got an ear infection, and an hour later, a doctor was in our suite treating her. A high-end hotel will go to great lengths to help you. That is an amazing story, Rob. Thank you for that. Source King, best lounge card for me is no question Amex Platinum. I'm at Arn in Stockholm, Sweden, 3 times a year, and Centurion Lounge. There is really nice. I can bring a guest into that lounge. Yeah, a guest into Centurion Lounge. Very cool. Gentleman Explorer, Mike Newland. That's a human condition, sir. Yeah, true. Big Kurt, I think of you're a single traveler. Capital One Venture X is good for international travel. It is, and it does rank pretty high on my list in some of those situations. Points Dexter, $2.99 super sticker. Thank you, Dexter. I appreciate that very, very much. Helps support the channel in a great way. Big Kurt, Conrad Fort Lauderdale is nice. It was. We loved it. James says, is the DFW Sapphire Lounge complete? No, it's still working, but it's supposed to open very soon, the way I understand it. Nick says, don't believe so. Sleepy Rod, what's the Rewards Master catchphrase? I don't know that I have one yet. I'm not that cool, I guess. All right. Points with Philip. The turn down service at Conrad in London is absolutely amazing. They actually replaced my toothbrush because I needed it. There you go. That high-end perks. Juan says Conrad, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale are nice. They are nice. That's very, very true. Points with Philip. Can you use the City Strata Premier for Airbnb? I think you're just going to get 1.5. Of course you can, but I think you're just going to get 1.5. Juan Garcia, Sapphire Lounge in Boston's nice. Yep. Christian, how much do you have to spend to get the Built rent day bonus when you have the Palladium to get all your bonus points? I think you have to spend $500. That's the way I understand it. If somebody knows anything different, then let me know, because the max is $1,000. 1,000 Built points. Sorry. K-State Nate. Hey, Nate, good to have you here. My buddy has to fly a bunch for work and didn't like the new price of the CSR. Let's see if my Ritz recommendation makes the list. It will. Miles and stays. Dang, good to know. All right, Bill Wright gifted 1 Rewards Master membership. That's awesome, Bill. Thank you very, very much. And Vincent gave $1.99, says happy Sunday, Bop. Vincent, happy Sunday to you, and I appreciate it very much. And then my good friend Philip, $4.99. Thank you, buddy. We can workshop your catchphrase in a little bit. All right, hey, yeah, we'll do that on your live in just a little bit. That's great. Family Travel John, Rewards Master catchphrase. Well, I just use my city points, city prestige for that. Yeah, that's pretty good. The other one is I'm loyal to Bop. You know, that's the one I say a lot too. Is people talk about, well, I'm a Delta fanboy. I'm a United fanboy. Well, I'm a Bop fanboy. I want to get my points, and I'm, so maybe that's it. But that, yeah, I just use the city prestige. Yep, I do. Christian Z, best lounge, Sapphire, Philadelphia. Second, Sapphire is LGA. Okay, I've been to the LGA one, not Sapphire. Nick, as a city guy, if I already have a credit card with Citi, should I still wait until I have 0 inquiries in the past 6 months? Want to move into Citi AA, but don't want to wait 6 months. Well, I don't always wait 6 months, but I have a lot of Citi cards between me and Nona. And sometimes I wait 3 or 4. That might work for you, but I know the 6 months is a safer play. I'll just put it that way. All right, let's move into this. Okay, here we go. Solo traveler, major hub, free agent. Now, some of y'all are going to disagree with this. I absolutely know people will, but I was just trying to think it through, and it's not a perfect, matrix here. It's just, I think these are just generally true. So if you live in a major hub and you're a solo traveler, in other words, you're flying out of LaGuardia, or I guess JFK would be a better example, or DFW or Las Vegas, or you're flying out of San Francisco or one of those kind of major hubs. And then you're a free agent. In other words, you're not loyal to a single airline. So you're a solo traveler, major hub, free agent. This is how I see it. I think the best card for you is probably the Amex Platinum, because in the Amex Platinum, you get so many lounges. And you're at a major hub. So you're getting into Centurion Lounge. It's just you. You don't have to bring any guests in. You're getting into all those Priority Pass lounges. And you're getting into Delta when you fly on Delta to the Sky Clubs 10 times a year. And you're also going to get into escape lounges if you're going to a smaller destination. I just don't think there's any argument for this person, the solo traveler, major hub, free agent, not loyal to an airline. Even though they can use Delta some when they're flying Delta with the Amex Platinum, that just gives it even more credibility. The Amex Platinum is the best lounge card for this person. I think the second best is the Sapphire Reserve. And I chose the Sapphire Reserve over the Ritz-Carlton for this person because the guest access and the authorized users don't matter, right, as much. You're a solo traveler. And the Sapphire Reserve gives you access to the Maple Leaf lounges. So to me, that edges it for the solo traveler over the Ritz-Carlton card. Does that make sense? Because that card, of course, gives you Priority Pass and it gives you Sapphire lounges. And it's above the Capital One because there are more Sapphire lounges. Now, this would change if your airport had a Capital One lounge and not a Sapphire lounge, obviously. But it has more lounges than Capital One does. So that's why I did it this way. Then there's the Ritz-Carlton, same reasons. It just doesn't give you the Maple Leaf lounges, but it does get you into Sapphire lounges and Priority Pass lounges everywhere. Then you've got Capital One. You got the Capital One lounges, Priority Pass lounges. The next one I put was the Citi Elite card because it gives you those 4 AA passes. So you get a good Priority Pass with the Citi card, and then you get the 4 AA passes. So that gives you kind of a little bit of a boost since you're a free agent. I'm assuming sometimes you'll fly American Airlines, and then you just get an extra 4 lounge passes. Now, this is not really, I didn't put it there because I'm really talking about the Bonvoy Brilliant card. I put that image there to represent all general Priority Pass cards. So you could replace the Built Palladium card there or any general card that just has a Priority Pass membership with guests, okay? So I think that the Priority Pass cards then would be 6th, because they're going to get you into all the Priority Pass lounges everywhere, but nothing specific, no Sapphire Centurion and no airport lounges. And then rounding out the bottom of the list for the solo traveler who's a free agent is, you've got Delta, the Sky Miles card. The only reason it etches out the other two is it also gives Centurion Lounge access. So that gives you more. And then you've got the American Airlines card. And the only reason I put it over the club card with United is because if you were to ever bring a guest, you get more guests with the Advantage card. And then the bottom of the list, number 9, for the solo traveler major hub who is a free agent, is the United Club card, in my opinion. So let me see. We probably have a few comments here. Let me see how many are in here. And I'm not sure we'll get through all of this today because I want to be timely because of Phillips. So if we don't, then we'll make it a part 2 in one of the next lives. So let's see. We got 76 watching and 40 have hit the like button. So if you haven't done that, please do that. Well, let's go back and see what the comments have to say about all this. Nick says, as a Citi guy, if I already have a Citi credit card with Citi, should I still wait until I have 0 inquiries in the past 6 months? Want to move into Citi AA, but don't. Yeah, well, that's the one we talked about. K-State Nate says Citi Prestige might be Bob's catchphrase. Nobody else on YouTube says it. Well, yeah, nobody else has it, it seems like, except for, I know Dem has it, but nobody creators seem to have it. Where's the creator meetup? Well, the big creator meetup is in September, and it's in Charleston at the Wild Dunes. The little creator meetup that's coming up soon is on March the 27th, 28th in Sacramento. So Dem says, love my Prestige. Me too. Dem says, spoke too soon, moved 125 to 125K to JAL. All right, that works. I don't blame you. And then says, can't refuse 100% return on points. Tokyo, April 2027. Have a great trip. That'll be awesome. All right, we're caught up on comments. So let's still got 73 watching. That's great. Now, this is the family traveler within a major hub that's a free agent. So this is the difference here is the family traveler is the person who's taking people with them. They're in a major hub. So it's one of those JFKs, LAX, one of those kind of things. And they're a free agent. They don't care which airline they fly. They're going to fly all of them. In this case, I believe the Ritz-Carlton card is the best card. Now, somebody's going to call me out because they've done it on some of my videos, and I'm grateful because I want to be held accountable. I try to be as honest and give my true opinion, uninfluenced, unbiased as I can. But I did a video months and months and months ago when everybody, when the Venturex changed, everybody was arguing the Ritz-Carlton was the best airline lounge card ever. And I did a video where I said I didn't think it was. And my arguments were that I didn't think it was because, first of all, it just basically had priority pass because at that time there weren't as many Sapphire lounges. And the Sapphire lounges and its access to those with guests is a big change. And I have the card and I like the card and the credit's great on the airline credit and all that, but it is not a spend. I mean, there's just no use. I would never pull that card out of my wallet to pay for anything if I wasn't wanting the lounge access and wanting that credit. I mean, that's and wanting the free night cert. So I think I've changed a little bit on it, and I think the Sapphire lounges expanding has made the difference. So that's just explaining my reasoning. But I think the Ritz card, because you can give all of your family authorized user cards, and they all get access to Sapphire lounges and to Priority Pass with guests. I just think it's the best of the best for this person, the family traveler major hub free agent. The second, right behind it, would be the Sapphire Reserve. And the only reason it's not above it is because it doesn't have free authorized users, so that's the difference. Then I'm going to say the Amex Platinum. Now, the Platinum is frustrating because you can't take your guests for free into the Centurion Lounge unless you spend $75,000 on the card in a year. But you can take them for free into escape lounges and also to Priority Pass lounges and all of that. So it's still a pretty strong card, but not as strong as the other two from Chase, but it's still a pretty strong card for this person. Then I put the Citi Strata Elite. And I put the Citi Strata Elite because it has a good Priority Pass, but it also has those 4 AA passes. So if you're free agent and you're flying that time on AA, you can use those passes for you and for guests. That's not very many of them, but you can use it for more. Then after that, I put the general priority pass card. So that would be the Palladium and the Bonvoy Brilliant and all that, because you do get guests with all of those to the priority pass. And I suppose if we were breaking it down, because you can spend built cash to get more people in, that slightly the Palladium would edge out the others, but not significantly so. And then after that, I put the AA card because, I mean, this is a free agent. Why would he have an AA card? But if he was going to have one of the remaining ones, the AA card gives more guests. You know, it gives 2 guests every single time, or immediate family, all that. Then the United Club card. The United Club card, I think, now only gives 1 guest, if I'm not mistaken. And it lost access to a lot of lounges around the world. It's just basically United Clubs now. And then after that, I have to put the Delta Sky Club card, the reserve card, because it only gives 4 passes for a guest in a year. And then you only get 15 passes. So that's just not as good. And then bottom of the list, number 9, the worst of the worst is Capital One, because you can't take any guest anywhere. So to me, it's number 9. All right, let me know what you think of those. Oh, we got 90 people watching. My top ever was 107. Maybe we'll get there. If you would hit the like button if you haven't. There's 48. Subscribe if you hadn't. Maybe give a super chat, super sticker if you want to support the channel. All that'll help. We got another 20 minutes or so. We could maybe get to 107. That would be cool. That'd be cool. All right. I don't think there's any more comments to catch up. Oh, yeah, there are. Bunch were down below on the feed. Sleepy Rod, Dim, I'm with you. I transferred all mine to Jal. That's good. QC Man, hey, channel member, good to have you here. Also, the AA card over United, because you can go into certain One World lounges. Exactly. I think I didn't talk about that with AA, but I did talk about how you can't with the United card. Miles and Stays says, Dim, I love your Prestige too. Yeah, I love it too. Yours is better than mine because you get the discount on it. Points Dexter, Dim, me too. Going end of March. Have a good trip. I hope you both have a great trip. Miles and Stays, Dim agreed, transferred all 160K points to Jal. Even if they devalue 100%, we're still coming out ahead. That is a great way of seeing it. All right, Happy Tom, how big is the assumed family? That is a relevant question, but I would have had 100 slides if I would have broken all that out for sure. Gentleman Explorer, family travel based in New York City. I base it on how much we like the lounges. Kids love food at Capital One. Wife loved the vibe at Sapphire Lounge. I like the Delta One at JFK. Well, you got to have a lot of cards then, my friend. But that's a reasonable way to do it. Happy Tom, I thought I'd see Built on the family list. What am I missing? Built being grouped in with that, just the card I have representing all cards that are just a priority pass card is that Bonvoy Brilliant. So whenever you see the Bonvoy Brilliant, that would apply to the Built card as well. Dim says, thanks, guys. Dim says, need to make sure I can link my Atmos number to the booking. Pretty sure you can. And then St. Patrick's Day, channel member gives a $1.99 super chat, super sticker. Happy Sunday, Bop. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for the support. Maybe that'll bump us over that 107 mark. Let's see where we're at. Still at 90. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So the next person we have is a solo traveler from a regional airport who's a free agent, okay? Solo traveler, still regional airport, free agent. Now on this one, I think that the best card is probably the City Strata Elite card. Now, I know that seems odd, but regional airports almost never have a Centurion lounge. They almost never have a Capital One lounge, anything like that. So if you're flying out of Birmingham or you're flying out of, I don't know, Wichita or something like that, those are regional airports. So what's the best for you? Well, you're still going to have layovers, because that any of the cards could be good on the layover. But as far as getting to use your card the most for the most lounges, I picked the City Elite because you might have a priority pass. That's possible. And you might, on occasion, be flying American. And you got a better chance of having an American lounge. And so that's why I thought the City Strata Elite is the best here. The second one, I put the American Express Platinum. And I did that really solely because on your layover, most likely you're going to have a Centurion lounge or one of the lounges, and you might be flying Delta, and there'll be one you can use it there. Then I put the Sapphire because there might be a Maple Leaf on your layover, or there might be, one of their Sapphire lounges or whatever. Then the Ritz-Carlton. Again, this is about a solo traveler, so it's not about the guests. So I think it's below the Sapphire Reserve for that reason. Then Venture X, just because of fewer lounges in the network. Then I put the General Priority Pass card, so that would be built and the Brilliant and all that. And then Delta, the Sky Miles card. It is better than the other two because you can get into Centurion lounges, but you do have to be flying Delta. That's why it's not much higher on the list. And then the American, and then the United for the same reasons as before. So that's where we're at on all of that. Happy Tom says, got it, thanks. And then QC Man gave a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, QC. Thank you so much. That helps a lot. Filmo's World, how about a family traveler who doesn't even want his own family with him in the lounge? You need a Venture X card. That's the right card, Filmo. Because then you could say, well, baby, I got to go in the lounge, but I can't get you in the lounge. So I'll go in the lounge and I'll get the grab and go food after the hour I spend in the lounge, and I'll bring it out to you and the kids in the airport. How's that sound? How's that sound for you? That seems like the plan. RL says late to the party, but just in time for those solo regional free agents. That's me. Solo regional free agents. I'm kind of all these, so I guess I can't say which one I am. But all right, I'm glad it applies to you. QC Man, Filmo, insert Jordan, them kids meme. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the next one. We got 95 in here now. 53 likes. Awesome. Okay, this is the family traveler in a regional airport, but it's a free agent. So this person has a wife, kids with them maybe. And, I'm figuring as a minimum a wife, or a companion. And regional airport, so a little Wichita or Birmingham or whatever. But they're free agent. They're going to fly on any airline. I still think the City Strata Elite is probably best in this situation because on the times that you can fly American, you can use those passes for yourself and your guests, even though you get 4 of them. And you get a good priority pass with guests. So that's good. Now, on this one, I also think the American Express Platinum is second best because you do get guests at the escape lounges, and some of these regional airports have escape lounges. So I think that's a big boost to the American Express Platinum card. And then, of course, on layovers, you're going to have lots of more options. Ritz-Carlton, I think because of the guest policy and being able to give authorized users and all that, I think that's got to go next. Then the Sapphire Reserve, then a general priority pass card. Now, after this, you really don't want any of the others. I mean, that's just a fact. But if you had to have one why would anybody have the executive card if you didn't fly AA mostly? But if you were going to pick one of the others, the AA has the best guest policies. Then the club card, United Club card, the Sky Miles card, the Delta Reserve only has the guests 4 times a year, so not good. And then Capital One with family travel. If you're not solo, the Capital One's just not good. So there's that. Let me see. We dropped down a little bit. That's all right. Let's see. QC Man, Filmo. He already said that one. Chanel 8024 became a YouTube member. Thank you for joining the channel. Appreciate it. I hope you go back and binge all of the channel members only videos. We got a bunch of them. All right, next slide. We're going to get through all of these. This is the Solo Traveler Major Hub Loyalist. Okay, so this is a totally different person here. This is the guy or the gal who's flying by themselves, but they're in a JFK or they're flying out of an LAX or a DFW or an Atlanta or one of those. And they are a loyalist. They fly with their airline. Now, of course, this will change depending on which airline it is. But in general, this is how I would rank them. I think for the solo traveler out of a major hub who's a loyalist, I think the best card is the Delta Reserve. Now, isn't it funny? Because it totally changes. Have you noticed that some of these cards for the loyalist are at the top that were in the bottom row? I mean, consistently in the bottom row. But this is the solo traveler. This is the person who's a loyalist. They want a lounge near their gate. This is who I am. I want a lounge near my gate. So if I have a 40-minute layover, I can run in and grab a bite to eat, grab a drink, whatever, and go back and not have to go to a different terminal. That is the king of lounges to me, is a lounge I can get in quick and get out of. So this is a totally different travel needs that this person has. So we have the Delta Reserve, and I think it's the best because it only gives, yes, 15 visits, but it also gives access to Centurion lounges. So I think that's just the best for the solo traveler, unless you need more than the 15 visits, I guess would be the clarifier. Then it's the AA lounges, because American still gives access to all the One World lounges. Then the United Club card, because it doesn't give access to all the Star Lounge lounges now. Then the Amex Platinum, and I think the Amex Platinum, because it gives Delta access to Delta lounges when you're flying Delta 10 times a year. So I think that would be the next one. And then after that, we have the Sapphire, the Ritz-Carlton, the Capital One, and then you have the City Strata Elite, and then every other Priority Pass card. I think that's how it breaks down, at least in my estimation, for this solo traveler out of a major hub who's a loyalist. Okay, let's see. All right. Sun Luan, channel member, gets $1.99, says, have a great Sunday. Thank you. I hope you have one too, and thank you for that gift. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's see how many we got. We got about 85 in here. That's pretty good. All right, I think this is the last one. Nope, we have several more. I was wrong. Family traveler, major hub, loyalist. So this is the person, same thing as before. Major hub, they're loyal to an airline, but they're a family traveler. There is no question in my mind that the AA executive card is the card for them, because this card just gives you 2 guests all the time, or your family, immediate family. So it's just the best on that. And it gives access to lots more lounges. Then the United Club card with the 1 guest. I think it has to come next. The Delta Sky Miles card, the Delta Reserve, I think it comes next because it does give those 4 passes, and it is going to, give you access to all the Delta lounges so you can get to your gate fast and all that. Then at number 4, the City Strata Elite climbs in the ranks because it gives you those 4 American Airlines passes. So if you're flying American and you're going to have this card and have 4 passes, plus you're going to have your Priority Pass. Then the Sapphire Reserve, then the Ritz-Carlton card. They're both good cards for Priority Pass and, of course, for their Sapphire lounges. But, that major hub is good for that. Then you've got the Amex Platinum, which, like I said, it's going to be good for some lounges, but you can't get guests into their own lounge, the Centurion lounges. And then you've got the General Priority Pass. And then, of course, the Capital One lounge is nowhere to be seen on this because you're doing family travel. All right, let's try to get through the last 2. Solo traveler, regional airport, loyalist. So this is a person who flies out of a regional airport and is loyal to one airline. I think the best for you here is the City Strata Elite, because the Strata Elite is given those 4 passes and it gives Priority Pass as well. You're in a regional airport. You might have a Priority Pass, but you might have a lounge that's your own, but you'd be able to use your American lounge 4 passes when you're flying through. So to me, that seems like a very good card. Then the Delta Reserve card, because you're going to be able to use the Delta lounges. You do get 4 passes if you ever wanted to use them for other people, but you get Centurion access. And I would be comfortable swapping those 2 now that I think about it. I think that would be an okay thing to do. The City Advantage card, it's very good even for a solo traveler because there's so many. You get direct access to the American Airlines lounges. Then the United Club card for the same reason. Amex Platinum gives you so many different accesses, but it gives you access to Delta when you're flying Delta, so that's good, but only 10 times a year. And then rounding out the list, the Sapphire card, the Ritz-Carlton card, the Capital One, and then ultimately you've got your just general priority pass. So I think that's kind of where that one lands. And let's just see. Yep, this is the last one. Family traveler, regional loyalist. So this is the family traveler out of the little airport who's loyal to one airline. This one, I think that the Strata Elite is very good. And, you know, you might say, well, no, the airline cards themselves are better. There's a case for that. The AA card or the United card's better, but the Strata Elite gives you the priority pass on your layovers and stuff. The other two don't. So, and it also gives you 4 lounge passes. So that's why to AA clubs. So that's why I think it probably edges out the others just barely. Then the AA card for sure. Then the United Club card. Then the Amex Platinum, because of, you know, you're in a regional airport, you might have escape lounges, all of that, and you get guests to those. Then the Delta Sky Miles card, because I put the Amex Platinum above it because it gives you access to Delta Sky Clubs, but you get guests at Escape and Priority Pass. You don't get those with the Delta Sky Miles card. Then the Ritz-Carlton, because of the guest access on Priority Pass, and of course Sapphire Lounges. And then you got the Sapphire Reserve, then you've got General Priority Pass, and then at the bottom of the heap again, you've got the Ventrex. So those are my lists, and we're bumping up at an hour right now, and I got to get off in just a minute to get on Phillips, and I hope everybody else will get on there as well. Let me get these last comments, and then I'll go through and thank everybody for all their gifts. Sun Luan just transferred 100K to JAL. Hopefully they don't do a deval. I hope they don't, but that is a good get. Congratulations. Of India, family traveler near IAD with a Sapphire Lounge, so Chase works for us. Yep, that's a good choice. George Rommel says, Bob, my pastor just talked about how husband should love his wife. I think you're a model of that. Well, I do love her. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And then George Rommel gives a $3.99 super sticker. Thank you very much. What a great day to round off the live. That is so appreciative. Well, we had about 96 at the height today. That was awesome. Let's get Gentleman Explorers, his last comment. I like your Conrad suggestion. I think they're opening a new one in Athens this summer. That would be great. All right. Well, I want to thank George for a $3.99 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Sun Luan gave $1.99. Appreciate that. Chanel 8024 became a channel member. Welcome. Great to have you here. QC Man gave $1.99. Thank you, QC. Appreciate it. St. Patrick's Day gave $1.99. Appreciate that very, very much. Points with Philip, who I'm getting ready to jump on with him, gave $4.99. Appreciate that. Vincent Pascal, $1.99. And then Bill Wright gifted a Rewards Master membership. Deeply appreciative of that. Points Dexter gave $2.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. And I think, oh, no. Gentleman Explorer gave $1.99 early on in the broadcast. That's awesome. And Miles and Smiles became a channel member. So happy to have you as part of the channel membership. And then Big Kurt gave a $2 super chat, super sticker. Juan Garcia gifted 5 Rewards Master memberships. That is awesome, Juan. Thank you so much. So for everybody who tuned in, who watched, who commented, and especially for all of you who helped to support the channel, I am deeply appreciative, and I thank you so very much. And it looks like another one came in from Sun Luan, $1.99. Thank you so much. Rob Knopper says thank you. Thank you, Rob, for being here. Chanel, thank you for the welcome. We'll definitely dive into the treasure trove of videos. Hope you enjoy them. And then Nick said, appreciate all the videos. You and Uncle Luke up there is my favorite creators. Well, you are so kind. Thank y'all. And hopefully I'll see you in just a few minutes on Philip's live stream. See you there.